Welcome to Sports Night Live presents The Cage. We've got such a great show for you today. We're talking all about BAMMA today. I've got some really interesting guests. I've got first Fraser Opie. Fraser, good to see you.
Yeah.
I've also got Neil Goliath Grove. Good to see you as well, Neil.
Nice to be here.
We'll talk all about what's coming up with you guys. And of course, my partner in crime, Mr. 48, Brad Wharton from MMA Bay. So really glad that all you guys are here today. Fraser, I want to talk to you first. I want to talk a little bit about sort of, where you've been, what you've been doing to get ready for, I know you've got some fights coming up. So tell us a little bit about your training.
I've been training really hard. I've got a fight actually coming up in 2.5 weeks. I'm defending my belt, light heavyweight champion for Fight UK, so I've got to defend that. And then I'm on BAMMA 9, which is a month after, so a bit of pressure, but it's good. I prefer fights close together.
Yeah, so, you've got a couple, one right after the other. So is it difficult keeping in the training routine, or is it easier that way?
I find it easier, to be honest. I go a bit wayward when I have too much time off, so I prefer things to be closer together and have a bit of a rest. So I keep a bit more on track when things are closer together. Yeah,
I guess so. And I guess you sort of maintain your weight and you walk around hungry all the time, though, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So this fight that you've got coming up prior to the BAMMA fight, so that's to defend your belt. And who's that fight against?
It's against Dan Edwards. He beat me early in my career. I think it was my second pro fight. Originally, I was a kickboxer. I was a bit big-headed, thinking I'd get away with just kickboxing, and I learned the hard lesson that way. He's a really good jiu-jitsu guy. So basically, it's a rematch with him. So I'm really happy for the chance of that. And then, got BAMMA after that.
It's always good to avenge those losses, isn't it?
Definitely.
Fantastic. Well, I want to take a look at the VT. We've got a clip of you from your last fight on BAMMA, BAMMA 7. So let's go to the VT, check out Fraser Opie.
Well, Krikiki is definitely coming in with a head of steam, meaning that he's very confident. And yes, that does play a mental factor in any fight that you go, especially the pressure that Fraser Opie is putting on himself to win this bout. However, you got to make sure that you're doing the small things to make the big things happen, and don't overthink it. Just go with what you know, what you've trained for.
Because for Robert Krikiki, as you said, he's a man on a roll at the moment, and BAMMA is the next natural step for this man, isn't it?
He's ready for big things in his last couple of fights. I mean, he has really been dominant. However, saying that, nice leg kick there by Fraser Opie.
And Opie does look the bigger man at the weight.
Big shot, and he stumbles the Polish.
It was wild. Krikiki went for the Superman punch. He was caught superbly on the counter.
That was a beautifully timed punch by Fraser Opie, and he's trying to ride that momentum. Hammer fist from the top. Krikiki looks like he's just trying to clear the cobwebs, and he throws a big shot of his own. His hands are down now. He's trying to close down the distance. Tie clinch for Krikiki. Both guys are throwing leather just like that. The straight line punches are gonna, hit you before. Now look at this here. Opie is just hammer fisting left and right. Goddard is looking at the action here. He may call it if Krikiki can't better his position.
That's right. He's got to look to be defending himself better than this, and he has. He's called it. This is a big upset for Krikiki, but it puts Fraser Opie right back on track here.
That was a great fight. Really good finish there. That was Brad. You were at that fight, weren't you?
Yeah, I was about 3 feet away from that finish. I probably had the second best view after the referee. And it's it was a cracker.
Yeah, fantastic. You've got another one coming up, BAMMA 9, so tell us about that. Who's you fighting?
I'm fighting Anthony Taylor. I think he's 7-0 now. Really strong guy. I think he's ranked probably about number 4 or 5 in the UK. So beating him would put me in his spot, and he's actually beating somebody who's beaten me, Godbeer. So I'll be happy to beat him. He looks like a tough guy, and I think he's going to be a fight to remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess so. You've got not only 2 fights in quick succession, but you've got 2 really big fights in quick succession. So it's not like you're having a tune-up and then a real fight. You've got 2 significant fights.
Definitely, which I think is what's going to keep me training hard, keep me hyped for it. Otherwise, you start to lose a bit of enthusiasm. So I'm happy about it, to be honest. So
where are you training at the moment?
Immortal MMA, which is in Milton Keynes. We've just opened I actually manage the gym as well. So we opened in September. We've got good trainers there, Lee Edwards boxing coach, Danny Batten, who's a European Jiu-Jitsu, who's also a world champion from Cage Warriors. It's in Milton Keynes. I've got Linton Vassell, who's ranked number 2 or 3 as a training partner. He's moved over to Immortal, so things are looking up for me and for Immortal.
Yeah, and Linton just won a light heavyweight belt in another promotion, didn't he?
Exactly, so things are going well.
Good guys.
One thing I like about your fights is your entrance. You got a cool entrance. Is that something that's important to you, like being a bit of a showman as well?
I like to be remembered, so I love, my interest to me is really important, and I think my next entrance to BAMMA is going to be even better. Something to remember.
Yeah, can't wait. You know, I think you brought that up, Brett. I think that's a really important aspect of the game, isn't it? I mean, you've got these guys that are clearly exciting fighters, know how to finish a fight, have cardio for days, but it's got to be a bit more of a total package. It's got to be a bit of entertainment, a bit of, like you said, you want to be remembered, and you want to be remembered not only for getting in the cage and taking care of business, but you want to be remembered as a personality. Because I mean, face it, when you're going to the big shows, that's what they're looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. People come to be entertained. If a fight's boring, at least have a good entrance.
If you look at some of the most enduring characters in the sport, you know, guys like Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell, they all had something outside the cage that separated them from the rank and file, whether it's, you know, the way they talk in the mic, or the way they look, or the way they dress.
Yeah.
You've got a guy like Colin Freakshow Fletcher in BAMMA at the moment.
Yeah.
His entrance was incredible at the last
brilliant.
BAMMA event, and no one's going to forget that guy.
Yeah, exactly. So Fraser, we get over these fights. You know, what are your aspirations? Have you got your eyes on the BAMMA belt?
Definitely, just about to say, definitely either the British or the international BAMMA belt. I want it. So, Jude, get me on it.
Jude, are you listening? He wants it, so let's put that together. Fantastic. So really, really looking forward to seeing you fight at BAMMA on the 24th of next month in Birmingham at the NI Arena. I think it's going to be a top night all the way around, and really happy to see you on that card.
Thank you.
Another guy that's had something to do with BAMMA that we've got in the studio today, Neil Goliath Grove. Neil, how's it going?
I'm all good, thanks.
Yeah, good. What's been going on with you lately?
I've been back since October last year, since my last fight with Bellator, and just recently got some news that I might be fighting for SFL India. It's a new show that's coming up in India, and just waiting for some paperwork to be signed, and then it's all go ahead.
You're certainly the biggest guy everywhere you go, but in India you're just going to be Goliath doesn't even begin to describe it.
You'll be revered as a god over there.
So what have you been doing to sort of prepare? I mean, I know we talked earlier about take a little bit of time out for the holidays. It's easy to do that, kind of get a bit soft, and then you kind of get back to it. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing lately and sort of your training regime.
Yeah, I'm still training with Semtex Gym in Swanley with my striking coach, Steve Gladstone. And then I take time off to go and train in Cork with my Sambo coach, Anton Davidovich, at Cork City Combat Sambo. He's a Sambo coach. And then I'm also working at Studio 360 in Billericay, my little hometown. And I've got my strength and conditioning coach over there. I'm trying to work it out between working and training at the same time. I've got 2 kids and a wife. And yeah, it's nice to be back. I was away in America, as you know, all of last year, training at Rain, Huntington Beach Ultimate Training Center, and also at CSW with some really high-profile heavyweight fighters. And the wrestling over there is from out of this world, as you know. Yeah. And I miss a bit of that, but otherwise it's good to be back home.
Yeah, it's much easier to be here than be away, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. It was very tough on the family, and I had to weigh out the odds, and I think it's better to be home.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Huntington Beach, that's my old stomping ground, so I can testify to the wrestling there, and yeah, I've been beat up more than I care to remember.
It's a great part of America, you know. With Bellator, you fight everywhere, and of all the places I've been to in America, I really, really enjoyed Orange County, in South California, and really friendly people. I don't know why English people are so skeptic about the Americans. I found them very hospitable, very friendly. The food is really good, and the weather is just fantastic all year round.
Yeah, it's like you're on holiday all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Well, so you've not only been active inside the cage, you've been a bit active outside the cage the last BAMMA event too, haven't you? So I think we've got some VT of Neil Goliath Grove making his interview debut. So let's have a look at Neil doing some interviews for the last BAMMA event.
Neil Grove at WOE TV here with Judo Jimmy. That was amazing, man.
Yeah, man. I can't believe it. It feels a bit surreal, man. It's absolutely crazy.
It's an emphatic win. You looked very emotional, especially when you jumped on the cage. It seemed like you're not going to stop screaming. Were you that happy?
Yeah, man, over the moon. Like I admitted in the cage, I've never been so nervous for a fight. I've never fought someone who's a bigger puncher, and I never thought anyone was dangerous as Felice Noor, and to do that to him.
I'm here with the winner, Jimmy. That was a great knockout, man. Yeah. Right at the end of the round.
Yeah, it was a tough opponent. I had to work him out a bit more. Then I found holes in what he had, and then I exposed them.
You know, I couldn't hear, because of the crowd. I couldn't hear the bell go. I'm sure you didn't hear it either.
I didn't hear the bell go because when I went to finish him and with the elbows and that, I think the ref jumped over and went, stop, so I thought I won the fight, but then he said no, nice ended the round. So like, it was a bit of confusion, but then I think after the thing he said he didn't want to carry on, so yeah.
So making your living on both sides of the microphone there. So yeah, good stuff, good stuff. How do you like interviewing and like doing the outside of the cage stuff?
I'm actually looking forward to the transition from being a pro fighter into going to broadcasting. I trained with a mutual friend, with one of the guys in the back, Sean Wheelock, who's the play-by-play commentator of Bellator.
Yeah.
I trained with him for 2 months, and it's very exciting being behind the camera. It's also very exciting looking at fights differently. As a fighter and as a spectator, you look at fight a certain way, and you have your opinions. But once you start having to really look at the fight as a commentator, it looks completely different. And you sort of judge at the same time, you're refereeing at the same time. It's very exciting, and you know, even just interviewing the guys afterwards after a fight, it's exciting because you can. I know what that feels like, especially after a win. When you interview the winners or the fighters, it's a different thing, and you could feel that energy coming off of them, and it's quite intoxicating.
Yeah, so might we see you doing some more broadcasting, some more commentating? That
For
kind of
sure,
work?
I'd love to. You know, there's a lot of really good shows in the UK at the moment. BAMMA being one of the best, and you know, if there's ever an opening with any show, I'm available, guys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I absolutely love, particularly when you guys come on the show. You know, we've got fighters on the show, and it's great because the fans get to see you. But I think they get to see a different side of you because, like you said, they get to see you not only as fighters but as fans. You know, what kind of stuff do you look for? What do you like? You know, that's probably the most excited I've ever seen Jimmy Wallhead, and you know, I've seen him. But I mean, he was bouncing off the ceiling there.
It was the first time that I've actually seen myself with the interviews there, and it's quite funny because if you just felt the energy of Jimmy Wallhead at the time, because we fought at the same card in Kansas City for Bellator, and it was nice to stand next to him after his win. He was happy.
Fantastic.
I interviewed Jimmy after his fight, the previous BAMMA. I actually did the same thing Neil did for World TV, and it was crazy. He was so excited after beating Frank Trigg, and I bet he was even more excited after knocking out
sure.
Joey. Sorry, that was a great fight.
So Fraser, with regards to BAMMA, BAMMA's a big stage. You're talking about earlier that you like your entrance and you really like to focus on that, but. And I asked a couple of fighters that have been on the show in the past, does it make a difference to you, the size of the crowd? Do you feel more energy when you're on a show like BAMMA?
To be totally honest, I actually prefer a bigger stage. BAMMA is worlds apart in the sense of crowd-wise in the UK, and I actually prefer the bigger crowd. I get a lot more of a buzz out of it, and I feel that I fight better. A lot more switched on. I prefer it a lot, so enjoy it.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, some fighters they aren't really bothered one way or the other, but I think the bigger the crowd. I know when I'm emceeing, the bigger the crowd, the more on I am.
You feed off everything.
Yeah.
You feed off. If everyone's quiet in the crowd, you walk in, you're mundane. But everyone's excited, you're excited, you're a lot more switched on. So definitely, I prefer the bigger crowds.
Yeah, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. When we come back from this break, we'll be talking more BAMMA. We're going to talk Diaz and Condit, not only the fight that happened last weekend, but the fight that was announced this week that potentially could happen in the future. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Sports Tonight Live. Welcome back to Sports Tonight Live presents The Cage. With me today is Fraser Opie and Neil Goliath Grove. We've got another special guest that's going to come on our digital wall in just a minute, but before that we'd like to see a fight from BAMMA 8 featuring Andre Wenner and Diego Gonzalez. So let's have a look at this fight and then we'll come back.
Gonzalez opens up with that lead hand. The size of the thighs on Diego Gonzalez like tree trunks.
Yes, he's the smaller, more muscular man with the squatter body, but Winner, nice combinations with his hands. They're moving sweetly.
Have a look at the speed and the handiwork early on here of Andre Winner. Gonzalez has taken more punishment than a bondage parlor. How is he still standing here, Diego Gonzalez? Andre Winner having his way with him. Gonzalez goes down. 13 seconds remaining. It's all Andre Winner.
It's the shot choice tonight. His shot choice has been exceptional. Everything has worked for him.
He has punished him. He has abused him. And he has completely beaten up Diego Gonzalez.
Hi, Andre. How's it going?
Too bad, thanks.
Yeah, good to see you. We just watched your last fight from BAMMA. Fantastic.
Okay.
I think they said Gonzalez was punished and abused, and a few other expletives. So yeah, really good fight. What's been going on?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Go on.
I was going to say, what's been going on with Andre Wendell lately?
Not a lot really. I've been down to fight. My manager's working on something as we speak, so hopefully something comes through and you see me fighting again in March. Other than that, not a lot really. I've had an induction into fatherhood, so I've been kind of busy with that also. But as far as the fighting wise, I'm not sure. And I know myself and Rob are set for May, I believe, for the fight for the BAMMA lightweight world title. But as far as in between that, you know, I'm just going to try and keep busy. I leave it to my manager. That's his job. That's what he does.
Yeah. So between fatherhood and training and everything else, you've got a full plate at the moment anyway, don't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty busy, but I like to stay busy.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I prefer it that way than having nothing to do.
Yeah. Well, I guess you take a bit of time out for whatever reason. I mean, it just gets you ready for your next fight anyway. And I think you know, we're really looking forward to seeing you when you're next in the cage. Really looking forward to seeing, you know, how your training's progressed. Like I said, if that last BAMMA fight was any indication, you know, we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm progressing all the time, especially with my wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I didn't really use it in the last fight because obviously Diego's strongest point was jiu-jitsu, so, you know what I mean, why give him that chance? But, you know what I mean, I'm looking forward to trying using some of my skills in the upcoming bouts.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've also got Neil Grove in studio and also Fraser Opie. Guys, anything you've got for Andre?
You know, I think what is noticeable with British fighters at the moment is we are all working on our wrestling quite a lot and our jiu-jitsu skills, and it was notable with his fight that his takedown defense, which is something we are all striving to do now, is our takedown defense is getting so much better, and you could see that with Andre's fight. Yeah, good luck to you to the future, mate. We're looking forward to watching your next fight.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Well, a quick point on that, we've got Kenny Johnson over here. Paul Daly's brought him over, and he's Paul's wrestling coach. But you know what I mean, when he comes over, we all get the chance to work with him, and a lot of that takedown D's, you know what I mean, taught by him. Well, that I've learnt my skills from. He's got a great system out at the moment, and I think it will definitely help a lot of the fighters coming from countries that don't have a strong wrestling background. He's got a bolt system. And I mean, if you look it up, you'll see all about it. But just like how you have jiu-jitsu and you have grades and you have your certain kind of like fundamentals that you have to get through, it's the same kind of system with what he's created in the bowl system. So check that out, definitely.
Cool. And how long have you been training with that, Andre? With that system?
To be honest with you, when Kenny comes over, I just do whatever I can get done with him, and then I'm just working with the other guys. You know what I mean? We've got guys like Jim Waller, obviously Paul Daly. You know what I mean? Guys like that in the camp. So whenever Kenny comes over, I've known Kenny probably since about a year and a half now, and just the little things that he's helped me with has made a big difference for me. So. I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah, really good. And I think, Neil, you're spot on with guys, particularly in the UK, working on their wrestling skills and working on, you know, it's all about takedown defense, isn't it? I mean, I think the UK traditionally has built a pretty strong jiu-jitsu base.
No, it has.
So control from the bottom's okay, but it's all about that control from the top, isn't it? That's
definitely.
Yeah.
I think, and it's noticeable even with Bisping. And some of the other fighters that are training overseas right now. Dan Hardy's out there, Paul Kelly's training out there. All our best fighters are out in America training to equalize or sort of get to the same sort of level as the American fighters. And I think what the American fighters are lacking in is the striking ability. In British people love a stand-up fight. If you look at any fight, whether the UFC's over here, whether it's BAMMA, it doesn't matter who's here, we all like to see a striking battle, and
Absolutely.
and our guys are good for that. And what they're doing in America is just counteracting that ability to control the fighters on the ground. And then, you know, our ground and pound is improving right now, and just getting up off the floor when somebody's holding you down, all that's really important within the fight.
Exactly, yeah. And Fraser, how about you with your fights coming up? What are you doing around wrestling, and how important do you think that is to your game?
Definitely, I need to, well, I have been improving with my wrestling a hell of a lot, especially coming from a kickboxing background. In the past, like I said, I thought I could rely on just that. So, takedown defense and wrestling. I mean, my last 4 fights, other than knockout where I've won, have come from maintaining top position, ground and pound. So, good wrestling, good base, I think it's fundamental. And training with Linton, who's in light heavyweight division, I think is probably the best wrestler, has really brought me on a lot. So, it's going well.
Yeah. I think I said to somebody a couple weeks ago, I trained with Linton when I was getting ready for my white collar fight. And yeah, he's a big, strong dude to have on
Really good,
top
strong
of you.
wrestler, really great base.
Yeah, very good. So, Andre, who are you training with at the moment?
Funnily enough, speaking about Diego, we got Diego's come out to train with us.
Has he really?
Himself, yeah. Papi Abidi. We've got Jack Marshman up here. Obviously, we've got the guys Paul, Nim Daly, Jim Warled, Dean Singer, Nico Shipshack's up here this week. There's a whole heap of us. We've got a lot of up-and-comers as well. So, you know, I mean, the squad's quite strong, and there's a lot of guys to work with.
Yeah, you guys have got a tremendous camp there, and all those names you mentioned, those guys are all just really heavy hitters. So, you know, I mean, like begets like, doesn't it? I mean, guys just it's training with lions, right? So.
Sounds like a welterweight's dream.
Yeah, exactly.
To go and train with these guys.
Exactly.
I'm going to cut weight, guys. I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
Well, people say iron sharpens iron, don't they?
Exactly.
And you can see with the recent performances from these rough house guys, they're all looking absolutely fantastic. And there's a reason for that, and it's because they're all training together.
Absolutely. Well, Andre, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for taking time out. We'd love to have you come down in the studio as soon as possible. Get in touch and let's organize something. It'd be great to have you here live.
Yeah, man, of course. Thank you very much for having me on the show as well.
All right, mate. Thanks a lot. Speak to you soon.
All right, cool, man. Chat to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Right, so how about UFC this past weekend? Nick Diaz, Carlos Condit, Brad, we've already been around this block, haven't we?
Yeah.
Fraser, what did you think of Diaz-Condit fight?
I'm not a major fan of Diaz personally. I'm just stunned at his attitude towards everything. But in my opinion, yeah, there's been a lot of ups and downs with the judging.
Yeah.
I thought he kind of did what he needed to do. Diaz just kept trying to get him into what he wanted him to do, and he didn't fall for it. And I think he did well. You know, he went out to win, like you said earlier.
I mean, credit to Condit. I mean, I am a huge Diaz fan, but credit to Condit. He didn't get frustrated. He didn't, you know. We've seen Diaz fight some other guys and just really frustrate him and have them get off their game plan, and then he puts them away.
He's trying to get to him mentally and pull him into his trap. But that's what I was impressed with Condit. He didn't let him get to him, and he did what he needed to do to get the win.
Yeah. I know you're gagging to say something, Brent.
Yeah, I'm gagging. Well, first of all, I'm gagging to say I told you so. I did tell you last week. I did tell you. But no, you know, I never expected the fight to go that way. You know, I think I said last week, if Condit wins, he's going to have to hit him early and jump all over him. But we saw a completely different fight than we used to seeing from Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are up in arms, not necessarily because of the scores and the fact that Condit won the fight, but the fact that he won it while walking backwards a lot of the time. You know, he used a lot of defensive movement, stayed out of Diaz's striking range. But, you know, if that was me, you know, I wouldn't want to be in Diaz's striking range either. The guy's a volume puncher, so I thought it was a really smart strategy. Controversial, maybe. I've watched it 3 times, got it differently every single time. So I don't know. But the rematch is something that I think will definitely, you know, put the issue to bed at least.
Are you surprised by that rematch? Are you surprised that they granted? Because if Diaz would have won that fight, would there have been a rematch?
Absolutely not. Not in a million years. You know, the UFC is a pay-per-view business, and pay-per-view buys are down at the moment across the board. They have been for the last year. The fact is, George St. Pierre versus Nick Diaz, that's 1 million pay-per-view buys sold on that fight. Condit versus Diaz, Condit versus St. Pierre, maybe not so much. You know, Diaz obviously threw his toys out the pram a little bit, you know, saying he was going to retire. I didn't really believe that for a second. I thought, they're going to throw enough money at him, he's going to come back. But yeah, it's a money fight for them, and I think the UFC want Diaz versus St. Pierre, and if this is going to bring that a step closer, then that's the way they're going to have to go.
And Neil, how about you? If you were in Diaz's shoes, fighting somebody like Condit, who somebody will say is elusive, somebody will say he was running. I think somebody threw up one of the UFC rules about being timid, and timidity is running away from your opponent. How frustrated would you be in Diaz's spot at the moment?
It is frustrating. I don't know whether Condit obviously did go and study all of Diaz's fights, and he saw what he needed to do to win the fight. And I'm not a Diaz fan, so I can't really say how I would feel being in his shoes. In fact, I just think Condit won that fight. I don't know why there's a rematch. It's like you say, it's all about the viewers and making money. But if there would have been a more interesting and more exciting rematch, it would have been Diaz-Daly. Sorry. And I just think that fight to me was more exciting than the Condit-Diaz fight.
Diaz cost checks one I'd like to see.
That would be a good fight too, but I just think if you really want to see an exciting fight, it'll be the rematch I just mentioned. Paul Daly. That was, I think if that fight was in the UK, the refereeing would have been slightly different. I think the fight wouldn't have been stopped. I thought it was a bit premature, because it was either way. Both of them were slightly out at some point in that fight, and I think Paul Daly drew the short straw. But let's stick with Diaz Condit. I don't see why there should be a rematch. Condit won the fight. He's deserved his title shot. And but then again, Dana White runs the show there, and whoever else, and
that's it.
they've got to do what they've got to do to make money.
I'm sure Condit's manager will be squeezing every last dollar out of him for that rematch as well.
A
couple of interesting things I picked up on actually. Somebody did a transcript of the corners
I read that.
For the whole fight for Diaz. Which is incredible. They were giving him some really good advice about not chasing him, about cutting him off. Diaz didn't seem to listen, but I think the most telling thing from all that was the fact that they were telling Diaz after every round that he was winning the fight, and Diaz even said, "Don't lie to me." And they were still telling him. And you've got to think, maybe it's the fact that he had his brother in the corner. I don't think that's
mindset, doesn't it?
Always a great idea, having family in the corner, even though they're both professionals. But if they were telling him in that last round or the last two rounds that you need a finish, maybe we would have seen a different performance from Diaz.
Yeah. Got to cut you off there. We're out of time. I could talk about this all day, all day. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. Something I like to do, because you guys take your time out, is give you my limited edition Hollywood Army T-shirts. So, Fraser, Opie.
Thank you.
Neil Grove.
Thank you very much, man.
Welcome to the Hollywood Army.
Thank you. Cheers.
Stay tuned, or tune in rather, next week when we have some more fantastic MMA chat. We're going to have some more guests in studio, another guest on the wall. It's not go time, but it's time to go. So until next week, we'll see you on Sports Night Live presents The Cage.